All right, flipped classroom number 10. This, we've been doing trig simplifications and show that's and then solving trig equations. So we have been ignoring our trig IDs page, and it turns out that it's looking pretty sad. There's not that many trig IDs on that page. So we're here to remedy the situation. So we will go ahead and add to the trig ID page. So that should have a little tab on it. So find your trig ID page and have that ready. And in the meanwhile, we'll actually develop the trig ID page, the trig IDs to add to that page in our comp book on page 125, I believe. And we're going to title that More Trig IDs. So go ahead and get that ready, and we'll go from there. I was wondering, and I'm sure you were as well, if we had the sign of a quantity plus another quantity, is it distributive? Does it follow the rules of distribution? Does sign of the quantity a plus b equal, can we distribute the sign and get sign a plus sign b, excuse me, circle? Is that a true statement or not? So I'm sure you were wondering as well as I. So let's do one that we can figure out and test. We'll test this sine of pi over 6 plus pi over 3. Does that equal sine of pi over 6? So if I distribute it, plus sine of pi over 3. So if this is true, it could be an indicator that this is true. So let's just see if this is true, and if it's not, we know this is not. So we'll go ahead with that strategy. So the question mark remains. So let me do pi over 6 plus pi over 3. We know pi over 3 is 2/6 pi. So 1/6 pi and 2/6 pi are 3/6 pi. And so therefore, that's sine of pi over 2. Now, does that equal the sine of pi over 6 and the sine, adding to the sine of pi over 3? So I have the unit circle sitting here, and it turns out that it has most of the, let's put pi over 2, it's highlighted here, monkey math, 0, 1, 0 over and 1 up. So let's get together here. Sine of pi over 2 is the second coordinate right here, so it's a 1. And sine of pi over 6, here's pi over 6, second coordinate is a 1/2. And sine of pi over 3, second coordinate is square root of 3 over 2. And it turns out that 1 is not equal to 1/2 plus square root of 3 over 2. So therefore, I think that this comes out to be a little, when I tapped that in the calculator, I got like 1.4. So that's not close enough. So this is not equal. This is not equal. This is not equal. And this is not equal. So what is equal? Let me show you, and then we'll test that as well. So this is a no-go. Sine is not distributive function. So it turns out that sine of a plus b, the quantity, is sine a cosine b plus cosine a sine b. And there it is. Let's verify that by example. Sine, we'll do the same thing. Excuse me. Let me silence the phone. we're going to put in sine of pi over 6 plus pi over 3. And we're going to see if this holds true. This is my A, this is my B. So I have sine pi over 6 cosine pi over 3 plus cosine pi over 6 times sine pi over 3. So let's see if that holds true. And again, let's see. Pi over 6 plus pi over 3, we've already established was pi over 2, the sign being 1. So this side is a 1. Over here, sine pi over 6, 1/2, cosine pi over 3, 1/2. Cosine pi over 6 is square root of 3 over 2. Sine pi over 3, square root of 3 over 2. Is that a true statement? We have 1 equals 1/4 plus 3/4, and that is equal to 1. So it actually worked in this case, and it will work in every case. So here is our new trig ID. So how do you remember that? There's some little tricks to it. We're going to do sine of A minus B in a minute, and that's when I'll show you some of the patterns that help me remember it. So get that down on your trig ID page, and I don't remember what number it is, but you can look and see, and we'll collaborate on that tomorrow, what number that is. But add it to your trig IDs, and this will be the next one right there. All right, I'm going to just give you sine of A minus B now. I'm not going to verify it. And you can just add it right away to your put it on this page, 125, and then recopy it on your trig IDs page. So this will be the next one in number. And sine of A minus B works out a little bit differently, but not too much. It turns out that sine of A minus B is going to be exactly like the sine of A plus B, except this sign right here becomes negative. So if you can remember the first, the second one is like unto it. All right, these are identical, except this sign and this sign have changed. This SIGN have changed from plus to minus. All right, is that showing up? Let me see. Pretty good. All right, cosine of A plus B equals cosine of A plus B equals cosine A cosine B minus. You probably weren't expecting that, but cosine works differently than sine. So when this is plus, and when you're working with cosine, this comes out to be minus. And it's sine A, sine B. So that's your next trig ID. And if I can fit this one on, I will. Cosine of A minus B. Any conjectures what it might be? It is cosine A cosine B plus sine A sine B. And before I erase this whole thing, you can pause to get those where they need to go. Before I erase these, and we actually use them to do a problem or two, it turns out that I notice on all four of these, it's A, B, 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 A, B. And from that, I just memorized this one, sine, cosine, and it's not going to be the same over here, so it's cosine, sine. So then I remember the second one has the A, B, A, B pattern, and the negatives match. But when I switch to cosine, the signs, the SIGNs flip, so this becomes negative, and this negative one becomes positive. I still have A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. And cosine starts with cosine just like sine did, but then it doesn't continue like these were different, these are alike. I don't know. I think just memorize them might be better. But I look for patterns and they help me with that. So write these down and study them, and let's see if you can know them by tomorrow. Let's use them to find out the cosine. You can pause the video to get these down. I'll leave my unit circle up there in case I need it. All right. Up until this point, I'm not sure how many minutes I've used for this, so I'm going to shut down this part and start part 2, where I just use these IDs to do a problem or two. So until then, part 2's a-coming.